Hold on. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back for another episode of the Determination Determines Destination podcast, where we share stories of people who use the 3Ds to success. Determination determines destination to overcome obstacles and challenges in life. And today we have, as featured on NBC, Fox News, ABC, and CBS, Taneisha Ramsey. Taneisha Ramsey is a best-selling author of the book After the Affair, What's Next? And 9/11 No More Fear is back again with her newest title, Daring to Love, and it is sure to help you escape the broken mindset that a toxic relationship can leave behind. Sharing her deepest secrets regarding her prior abusive marriage, Taneisha shares her healing process and her journey to overcome her riveting tell-all memoir. But now Taneisha is free and thriving. She is ready to help women who have been hurt and broken begin to live and thrive again. Hence her new platform, Taneisha Now. Welcome, Taneisha. How are you this morning?
I am great. Thank you, Sid. Thank you for having me. I even brought my bell to wake the audience up. Wake up. We're in the house. Yes, it's time to thrive.
That's right.
Great. Yes.
So Taneisha, to start things off, tell us how you have used what I call the 3Ds to success: determination determines destination in your life to overcome obstacles and challenges and strive for success in your life. Tell us your story.
Okay, so determination, you have to be determined to succeed, because those of us who succeed don't succeed easily, right? It's through hard work, it's through dedication, it's resiliency. I have the kind of resiliency that doesn't quit on myself. And I think that's so important. My dad, when I was growing up, he taught me quitters never win and winners never quit.
That's right.
And so that really stuck with me. That was the glue that made me become tenacious in anything that I do. My boss, Dr. B, my old boss, he said, Taneisha, you are the most tenacious person that I've ever met in my life. And so he said, I'm going to start calling you Tenacious Taneisha. So I said, hey, call me what you want, but have my reports on the table by 4:30 so I can submit them to the board. So yes, being tenacious, being determined to set goals. I think a lot of us, we have big dreams, but we don't set the goals that help us align the planning process to accomplish the dream.
Yeah.
Like I always wanted to be a registered nurse, but by the time I was 17, my great-grandfather actually fell in the hospital, and that caused his death. He went in for pneumonia, but when he fractured his face, his hips, the whole left side of his body, that was it for him. And it really just left a burning desire to want to do something different in healthcare. And so my passion for healthcare came from my actual personal event of losing my grandfather from a fall. But I didn't go right into nursing school. I wish I did straight out of high school, that I would have went into nursing school. But a series of traumatic events happened in my life. With my mother wanting to commit suicide in front of me, that was very traumatic. And so therefore, I lost my sense of identity when some of those trauma things happened in my life, just like I'm sure some of your audience, you go through things in life that make you kind of question why you're here. But I would just say, never give up on yourself. One single moment doesn't dictate the rest of your life. It's one chapter, maybe not even a chapter in your book. It may just be 1 or 2 pages, but you have to keep moving on. You have to keep believing in yourself. And I just had the determination to believe in who I was. I remember the saying that excuses are the tools of the incompetent, building monuments of nothingness. And those who excel in them seldom succeed in anything else.
Awesome.
And so I don't make excuses for myself. I'm my biggest accountability partner, right? Because only I know the capabilities that I have and what I can achieve. except for when you're dealing with a coach, because of course sometimes you can't see the magnitude of the greatness that's inside of you because you're looking at yourself every single day. You're looking at yourself like, oh, this is just what I do. But to other people kind of looking at you, they're like, wow, no, you're remarkable, you're amazing. And so I would just say that belief that you have in yourself, keep yourself determined, resilient to get to the success that you're trying to achieve with goals. You have to set goals. You have to set small goals first, your 30, 60, 90-day goals, your 6-month goals, your year goals, 5-year goals. You can't just do it all at once. You have to just take pieces of it. And before you know it, you'll get to where you need to be. Even if it's hard, it's going to be hard. Life is hard, right? Life comes at all of us, especially if you have a calling on your life where God is calling you to do something amazing in the world. You know, the enemy knows that he doesn't have much time to try to deter you from realizing who you really are. And so that's a process in itself, a whole journey. But being resilient, being tenacious, being determined to keep living, to keep fighting for your dreams. I always wanted to be an author as well. I remember writing a biography, a small short biography at Temple University, and I handed it in, and my teacher was like, you know, this is the first time ever that I actually have to give someone 2 grades. She gave me an A for content and a C for grammar and punctuation and all that. She said the content was so good that she didn't want to even give me a B. She didn't want to merge the grades because she wanted me to know how great the content was. And then she asked me, she said, can I read this to the class? And at first I was like, well, only if you keep me anonymous, right? Because sometimes we're still ashamed of the things that we've been through in life. Although we overcame those things, we still hold on to guilt and shame. So I was free enough to write it out and purge it onto paper, but not at that time free enough to say, yes, it's me who's behind this story. But I'll say this, once she read it out loud and everybody was clapping and was like, who wrote that? She said, well, does the person mind if I say who wrote it? And so then I was like, you know, hey, it's me. I'm the one that wrote it. You know. So just overcoming your own fear. Sometimes other people aren't the ones holding us back. Sometimes it's our own mind. It's our own doubt. And so that's why my book, 911, No More Fear. 911 was actually the date that I got saved and gave my life to Christ.
Wow.
I said, you know, wow, it must have been an extreme emergency if he had to save me on 911. Like, come here, daughter. I need you. You need to be right here. And then the other part of my title, No More Fear, is just that we have to start stepping into our power and stop allowing fear to paralyze us. We're going to feel a sense of fear. You're going to feel that anxiety. You're going to feel the nervousness. I still get nervous before I speak on stage or, you know, just something small. But I don't even know if it's a nervousness now more so than it's just the excitement, right? Because when you're excited, you have those same symptoms of nervousness. So it may not be that we're nervous at all. We're just like, hey, I'm ready. Let's go. Yes.
That's beautiful. So tell us about your business, your projects that you have going on. You got some good stuff going on.
Oh, thank you. So like you said, my book, Daring to Love, that is my memoir, and I'm super excited about transforming that into a movie. It's going to be a Academy Award winner. I just know it is. I'm putting it out there. Tyler Perry, if you're listening, grab my book, Daring to Love. Yes, we need to start telling the stories of women who have been through a lot in life, but still overcame. That God has brought us through all those valleys and pitfalls. If you was to read my book, you would think it really was a horror story disguised as someone's life. But I'm so thankful that I don't look like the things that I've been through, that I didn't come out smelling like smoke. I don't look burnt up. I don't look old, but I have went through the fire, that's for sure. And I continue and I continue to go through the fire, and that's okay, because God is pruning me into the woman that he created me to be, not what society says that I have to be. And so that's another project that I'm working on. She Thrives Now, Incorporated. Right now it's going to be a TV show coming soon, because I think we all know how to survive, right? But when do we get into that thriving stage? When we're not waiting for the next thing to happen, and we're not, living in a mindset of lack. Versus, so lack, you're competitive, you're jealous, you feel like you got to prove yourself. I always had something to prove. I wanted to run away from my past, because I didn't want people to think, oh, well, she used to be a dancer, and so now she doesn't have no validity with her, as if I'm not the one that got the degree, climbed my way up the career ladder, became a CEO of my own company, A+ Healthcare Partners, a home health agency that provides skilled nursing, PT, and things like that in the home. I built that company, and that was one of the hardest types of companies to build in healthcare, especially with no experience in that arena. I had no experience in home health. All of my leadership was in corporate quality, patient safety, consultation, regulatory compliance. But I'm just one of those people that I believe I can once I set my mind to doing something, that I can achieve it. And that's how we need to be. There's nothing that we can't do, right? Greater is he that lives in me, that lives outside in this world. So with God, all things are possible. And so I just continue to stay focused on the things that God has me to do, even when I didn't, because opening up my home health agency was something that was a little to the left. It wasn't exactly what I knew God was calling me to do, but I was scared to step out and do something completely different. I had been a registered nurse for 17 years, right? So I had 17 years worth of knowledge and expertise in the area of healthcare and nursing. And I had zero as it related to writing, as it related to speaking. And so those things, that insecurity of not wanting to let go of the blanket of security is something that you're going to have to push through. Your mind is going to try to keep you safe. Like, you need to stay over here where you know how to pay the bills, you know how things go. Don't right. Exactly. My mind was like, no, look, Taneisha, you done been through enough financial situations where you were down your last $2, living in the basement of somebody's home, 8 different houses in 3 years. So my mind wanted me to stay comfortable and stay in that security that I built for myself. Whereas though my spirit was saying, oh no, God did too much for you to keep this to yourself. It's not about you. It's about healing others. And so I write my books and I tell my story, not to impress anyone, but to inspire anyone that I come in contact with. Because if I could do it, and I've been in domestic abusive relationships, abuse after abuse, because I was attracting the very thing that I really thought I deserved, right? And so when you don't think you're worthy, then you attract unworthy people, because that's the energy, that you're putting out. So when you read my book, Daring to Love, you'll see that relationship after relationship got worse, got a little bit better, but the last one ended with a gun to my head. But my ex-husband had put a gun to my head because of an affair. And honestly, we pushed even through that situation. But as we pushed through that situation, God was speaking to me. And God was saying to me that I wasn't being the daughter he created me to be, that I needed to stop running from love. And that was the first time that I actually heard God's voice, when I had that gun to my head, asking God to help me. And so people ask me, well, what was the change? What made you come to God, or what made you change your life? I'm saying, well, you got a gun to your head. What else do you need? I mean, come on.
You can't get no better than that.
Right. Something ain't right in the story.
You ain't gonna answer that call.
I mean, hey,
for you.
right, yeah, exactly. And trust me, there's been plenty of times where I could have answered the call from different situations, but God is like, okay, now this girl right here is hard-headed. But that's all right, because those who God has forgiven for much love him much. And so if that's a qualifier for how, God says who loves him the most, then I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful that he's forgiven me for all my sins, and therefore I can forgive myself, because a lot of it has to do with self-forgiveness. Yeah. We're very quick, we're very quick to forgive other people sometimes, but we haven't even forgiven the person who you're looking in the mirror at every day.
Forgive yourself.
Yes.
Love yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. And you can't really love yourself 100% if you don't know what true love is. If you don't know what love feels like. We're used to physical love with somebody touching us, and that's an expression of love, but that's not the only love. And so sometimes I think people have a difficult time embracing God's love, because it's one that is not physically, you're not physically being touched, although you can feel his presence, right? You can feel his presence. You can feel the love that he has for you. And God had to chisel away all the shields that I had put on my heart from pain. So we have to unshield our heart so that pure love can get in, God's love. And therefore, when he loves us, we love him, we love ourselves, then we can love someone else. Like the overflow, like Ivania says, love from an overflow, right? Fill your own cup up, put your own oxygen on. We talked about that last night, making sure you put the oxygen mask on your own face, because if you can't breathe, how can you help someone else to breathe?
That's right.
And so I'm making a deliberate, conscious effort to keep filling Taneisha up, keep filling me up, so that everything I give is from overflow. It's not from what I need to survive. I'm thriving. So once I'm filling myself up and I'm thriving, then I can give that overflow. But a lot of us try to give from an empty tank. Yeah. And so what you're giving, you're resentful about the fact that you're even giving it, right? Because you're like, I don't even have the energy for this. And so how am I going to give you a part of me? But you do anyway, but then you wind up being resentful. So I just say, look in the mirror and say to yourself that you are enough, that you are worthy of everything that God is trying to give you. You're worthy of having a personal relationship with him. I'm the most unlikely, right? I'm the least qualified that you would say, that somebody would say, oh, God's going to use that person, right? Because I wasn't raised in the church. I didn't grow up in the church. I was one of those, a wild child, okay? So God can use anyone, just like he used Paul. Paul was a murderer in the Bible, killing Christians, and turned around to be the greatest apostle. I feel like I'm one of the women at the well, that God is like, okay, now you done had 5 husbands and all of them wasn't even your husband. What are you doing? Why are you still looking for love in everything else but me? Why are you calling on everyone else? Calling Tyrone, calling Susie, calling Benita, calling everybody. You better call on God. That's who can answer your prayers. That's who can answer the things and the questions that you should know, and that you're never too far away from his touch. He can touch you from anywhere.
Right. Your story makes you perfectly qualified to answer the call.
That's right.
You got to be able to relate to the storm, going through the storm. Your story makes you perfectly qualified. And
thank you.
You hit on several good points, and one of those points you brought up was safety and security versus answering your call, going with your heart, going with what God is telling you. And a lot of people, and we're taught this by the larger society, to cling to what's familiar and safe, even if it's not good for us. Since it's familiar and there is some degree of comfortability, people will stay with that rather than go into the unfamiliar things that actually will free them and make them more secure. And you answered that call. You went through the storm. You went with some things that were comfortable, even though they weren't good for you. But once you understood, once you answered that call in your heart that God gave you, it set you free.
Yes. Yes. And the coronavirus helped set me free too, I must add, because the coronavirus completely shut my business down.
Wow.
Because I'm an asthmatic. I have other medical conditions where I can't go out and be exposed to coronavirus. And so my job is highly touch. It's a high touch. You're in people's homes, you're in unfamiliar spaces. And so when the coronavirus hit, I really didn't have any choice, like most of us, but to sit down, down and be quiet. And all the chaos of my life was being removed, right? So I actually had the time to spend with God and hear his voice. And, that is what really gave me the freedom to say, I don't even enjoy what I'm doing anymore. Right? I'm giving it much more than my time. I'm giving it my relationships. I'm giving it my joy. I'm giving it so much. And it's not, how is it worth it? I don't want to just live life because I have a 6-figure salary and I have this amount of money in the bank, but I don't have time to enjoy it. My children are grown now, right? They're 26, they're 20. So they're ready to do their own thing. I spent so much time chasing success and chasing a certain status that a lot of things fell to the wayside, and I didn't even realize it until now, coming into myself and being in the light. I realized that the most precious things in life are actually free. Right? Our relationships, our relationship with our spouse, our relationships with our children, our friends, our community, watching the sunrise, watching the sunset, all of those things that we just take for granted, and they're absolutely free. All the money in the world won't give you happiness, and it won't give you peace, and it won't give you joy. It'll make you comfortable, and you won't have some of the same challenges that you may have used to have when you didn't have the financial freedom. But I want both. I want a 360 life. I want it all. I want financial freedom. Yes, I want health. I want my relationships to be loving, kind, and just beautiful relationships. I want 360 life. We don't have to give up all this to get money. We can have a 360 abundant life. And that's where you go from surviving to thriving, getting out of that mindset of, oh, I only can have this. If you work real hard, you'll get the money, but you'll lose the relationships. No, I'm stepping into ease and flow of my life. I'm stepping into speaking engagements, writing opportunities, films, all the things that I love that'll give me the financial freedom to create the memories that I want to create with my children, with my husband, with my life. I want to leave a legacy here so that people will know you do not have to let shame and guilt rule your life. We have to break these shame and guilt cycles. And if me being transparent about my life, the things that God has brought me through, the things that I said to myself, girl, what in the world were you thinking when you did that, right? Who were you? I mean, I had lost my mind a few times, but it's okay. Now we can sit and back and just laugh at that moment. We have to start laughing a little bit more at the things that happen to us in life, because we're not dead. We're still breathing. You're still here.
That's right.
So enjoy life. Enjoy life.
That's right. Yeah. We all go temporarily insane more than once in our lifetime, and those are the times when we need to learn from those experiences the most. And so ultimately they're okay,
Absolutely.
come out on the other side, and you're so right. You want a 360, like, hey, you a child of God. God said you can have it all, so ask for it all, demand it all.
Yes. Yes, demand it all. Make the demands, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times we want things in life, but we're too afraid to tell people that we want it. We won't even say it out loud to ourselves. You got to speak the word. You have to affirm the word. You have to say what you want. You have to keep reminding yourself that this is what I want. And you can do it, that it's possible, that all things are possible through Jesus Christ who strengthens you. But you got to believe in yourself first.
Yep.
I mean, you can't, God ain't just going to, all right, here it is. Without you doing the work.
That's
you
right.
know that the hand of the diligent shall rule. You have to be diligent in the things that you do. You have to put effort in the things that you do. I'm not saying, that you can't do certain things without God just opening the door, because sometimes he will just open the door and you didn't do anything to deserve it. You didn't work hard for it. He just opened that door. But there's a process of all those different things coming into alignment with the door that he has to open from you. And you got to be willing. Every opportunity, you got to be prepared.
Yep.
Right? So when I do podcasts, when I'm speaking to you, when I'm speaking to other TIR family members on their podcasts, all of this is helping me to prepare myself to keep on speaking, to keep on going onto platforms, to keep on doing the very thing that God has called me to do. Use my voice for the voiceless. There's so many voiceless people. Well, they think they're voiceless. You can speak. Right. But sometimes we use our voice to say the wrong things, and we don't even realize that we're cursing our own life. The Bible tells us to speak blessings over our life, not curses, that the power lies in your tongue. Right. So a lot of us, I used to be one of those very sarcastic women, had to have the last word, all of those things. And I didn't even realize that I was cursing my own life. And so sometimes now the Holy Spirit has to do one of those numbers, because hey, he's still working on me. I'm always going to be a work in progress. I'm so glad God's hands don't never get tired, because he keeps shaping me and molding me into exactly who he's called me to be. And I am a work in progress, and I know it. I'm humble. I know it.
It's a good thing God continues to work with us, because we all be in trouble if we didn't.
Yes. That's why I don't believe in being holier than thou and people that judge people, and because I think when people do that, you have simply got amnesia. That you have forgotten the place that you were at when God pulled you out of the pit. Right. And so now that you're out of the pit, you want to clutch on to your pearls, like I'm so suchy much and I'm so this, and nobody has to know the things that I've been through. Yes, they do need to know. They need to know so that they can see an example that it's possible for them to get out of the situation that they're in. Me, when they look at me, I want them to see it's possible to be from West Philadelphia, raised in the hood, and violence all around me, and still come out without smelling like smoke, and not be a gang banger or do the things that I used to do. We used to do those things to survive, but we don't have to live today as if we're living yesterday's life. No, today is a new day. Even the things that happened just yesterday, it's over. How are you going to make today help you become the best version of yourself? So that's where I'm at in life.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
So, Taneisha, as we wrap things up, give people some advice if they're starting out on their own journey, and they're unsure about things, they're clinging to the security, they're going through, trials and tribulations in life. What is your advice for people, who want to achieve their success, be determined to achieve their success in life? What advice would you give them?
One, just be tenacious. believe in yourself, believe in your dreams, write your dreams out, have goals, hit each milestone, but hit a micro win. Celebrate your wins. Don't wait until you get to the end to say, oh, I finally did something. No, energy grows where energy goes. So keep celebrating your wins. Keep looking for the resources that are right there. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask for help. A lot of times we think, oh, I got to do it alone. If I don't do it alone, people think I need this or I need that. No, you do need us. As a community, we need each other. So we need to collaborate. So believe in your dreams. Keep God first. Be tenacious and resilient. Make sure you keep your goals in front of you, and every day pluck at them one at a time. Prioritize them. What is the most important thing that I have to do today? And at least do one thing every single day to get to your dream. Keep reaffirming yourself. Keep reaffirming the dream in your own mind so that you can believe it. Sometimes we don't even believe the dream that we set in place for ourselves. So keep talking to yourself. Sometimes the conversations that you have with yourself are the best conversations that you'll ever have, because you are the only one that knows the thoughts that are in your mind. But keep believing, keep dreaming, keep God first, and all things will happen just the way that they're supposed to for you.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, Taneisha, let everybody know how they can contact you, your social media, so they can find out the awesome projects that you have going on, so they can get those books, see that movie that's coming out. Let everybody know how they can find you.
Yeah, so thank you. So like my brother Sid said, this is my book. Oh, Daring to Love. You can get your copy on my website, TaneishaNow.com. If you want to go to my publisher, it won't be personalized, but you could go to wordy.com, WORDEEE, that's triple E, Wordy. Again, go to my site, sign up for my newsletter, send me an email, contact Taneisha Now. I'm going to be looking for the new year for people to coach. My new project is going to be coaching. There's so many things that I've done in my life, and I want to share that with other people, other women, even men, because they're all the same principles. We just have to go at it a different way. And so contact me on social media. Facebook, I'm on Taneisha Ramsey or Taneisha Now. I'm on Instagram as Taneisha Now. Reach out to me. I want to hear from you. I want feedback from you. Ask me whatever questions, because I'm always willing to learn. I always want to give the audience what you need. What are you looking for? And that's where I am.
That's your story, and you're sticking to it.
I'm sticking to it. Yes.
All right now. Taneisha, thank you very much for being on the Determination Determines Destination, the 3Ds to Success podcast. It was great having you. Everyone, stay tuned for another episode. I'll let you know when that's coming out. Have a great day and be determined to achieve your success in life. I'm out.